Hey guys, Bridget here. In this video, I want to talk about UX prompts and how you can create an efficient prompt for a UX app or creating the structure of a website. Now, the basics are going to always be the same, but of course, you're going to need to adapt the prompt to the specific goals and needs of your project. So see this as a starting point in order to brainstorm the ideas, in order to create a solid prompt. And then, of course, you're going to need to always adjust it based on the specifics of your project. So this is a basic brainstorming structure, so to speak. Now, the basic of a prompt is always going to be the objective and the purpose. So you want to describe to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or whatever AI tool that you're utilizing, what is going to be the objective and the purpose. And this should be pretty self-explanatory, but you want to focus on what is the problem that the app or the website solves, and also what are the business goals. So you want to solve as a problem that is the reason why your client or yourself with your personal endeavor or in business. And on top of that, you might also consider what is the ideal scenario that your user or target market is actually looking for. Because when it comes to UX and marketing in general, really, there is a lot of focusing on the pain points and also on what success looks like. Is just going to be invaluable information, and it should be the basic of pretty much any project, really. So that is going to be the very basic element. And by the way, we're going to see an example of a prompt at the later stage of this video. So just bear with me for a moment as we go through these different elements first. Then the second one is going to be the target audience. Who are the users? So you want to give as much information as you can on who is going to be the target audience, because that is going to, of course, reflect on both the structure of the communication that you're going to do on a website, for example, especially if it's a landing page. And it's also going to have an impact on the app, of course, since if the target audience is a younger audience, it's going to have implications and a different communication strategy than for older audiences, or if the audience is primarily you having certain other characteristics. So it's not just about the age, it's really about who is the end user, what are their problems, and what they are their goals. So always focus on this as the very basic, as this is going to give you solidity overall in the prompt generation. Then the third point is going to be the competitors and market analysis. And this is one of the elements which I see most designers not focusing on enough. And it's actually really important to always have a contextual overview whenever you're tackling any UX or web design project as to who are the competitors and how does the company that you're working with or for is in the marketplace in context. And specifically, you want to understand what makes them stand out from the competition. So there is this term in marketing and advertising, which is a USP, which is unique selling proposition. And that essentially means what makes them stand out compared to the other companies in the same marketplace. So this is actually extremely important for the website, especially since you are going to need to tailor the communication around what really makes them stand out and why they should choose your product and service compared to others. So that's another thing that you definitely want to consider in the prompt. And by the way, these elements can be included in the prompt in a very simple way, so it doesn't need to necessarily be paragraphs and paragraphs of text. In fact, most of my prompts are probably between 2 and 3 paragraphs, and then I just adjust and start a conversation with AI and adjust the prompt and the results based on what I receive. And but you always want to keep these elements on from a high level in mind. And then the fourth one is going to be, of course, the key functionality and features. So this is actually going to depend if you already know the functionality and features. Sometimes you're going on a project and you're just brainstorming even the basics. So you need to start from a fresh canvas, and AI can be excellent in order for generating ideas as to what are going to be the core features that could be added based on this specific requirement. So, for example, to give you a practical example, I recently received an inquiry to create a operational app in a specific field, and the client didn't really have an idea of what could be the key functionality and features. So wanted me to brainstorm what could be those functionalities. And I utilized AI in order to have a list of ideas that then we can brainstorm together and then we can start a discussion. So the discussion is not going to start from a white canvas, but there's actually going to be some basis to it, and AI can be extremely useful. But on the other hand, you can also already know what are going to be the core features. So adding this to the prompt is going to make it so much easier. And on top of that, another thing which is often not considered is the prioritization. And this is extremely important because it's something that you can add in the prompt, which is going to essentially help engineer or reverse engineer the project based on what is really important to show and to communicate with more emphasis compared to some other elements. So if you have a list of, say, 10 or 20 features, adding this to the prompt, notifying ChatGPT or whatever AI tool as to what are going to be, for example, the top three elements to prioritize, that is really going to be helpful. And on top of that, you can also map out the user journeys. So you could give insights as to what are the key tasks that user need to complete, and this can be from a high level. So, for example, I'm a manager. I enter this web app, and I expect to do X, Y, and Z. And of course, also you can talk about what are the potential pain points that the current app has, or what are the pain points that I want to avoid. Maybe the competitors have these issues, and with our solution, we want to solve this. So this is pretty much it when it comes to the main points that I always like to keep in mind whenever I'm creating prompts and I'm discussing solutions with AI. And I want to give you like a very brief example of a prompt. This is a simple prompt. This can be much more in depth. Sometimes I do prompts which are like 1 page long, for example, but other times it can be as simple as this or even more simple. So, for example, over here, we're saying design a mobile responsive e-commerce website that targets tech-savvy millennials aged 25 to 35. So we have the context, we have the some idea of the target market, and then it continues. It must offer a seamless browsing and checkout experience with minimal clicks. So that is kind of like the goal and the pain point that we want to avoid, which is implicit. So we don't want a lot of clicks. Competitor analysis should include Amazon and Shopify, and the goal is to create a simpler, more personalized shopping experience. The site must feature core functionalities such as advanced search, product categorizations, some other things. So again, here we kept it pretty simple. We can go in much more detail in all of these elements. We can talk about the elements that we like and we dislike about Amazon and Shopify, which are the main competitors. We can talk about the features in depth. We can add UX considerations. So you can see how all of this can really be magnified and tailor-made based on the specifics of the project. But I just want to give you like a high-level understanding of this isn't rocket science. This is quite easy to do in most cases, especially if you break down the basic blocks. And then you can simply see what AI gives back, and then you start a conversation and you make it better and better with each and every input. So this is it when it comes to the very basics of UX prompts. If you have any ideas on how to make a UX prompt solid and efficient within your design workflow, I'm happy to see what you suggest in the comment section. And if you have any questions about UX prompts in general, feel free to leave a question below. And very last thing, if you want to learn more about UI UX design and web design, I have over 900 videos which are entirely for free on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, feel free to check them out, and I'll see you in the very next video.